Hello, hello, and welcome to another week of whatever this is. Another week of chatting about video gear and seeing what trouble we can get up to. Good to see everybody in the chat here. Thanks for joining. As always, if you have a question, start your message with the letter Q because it filters it into my little questions column on the screen here. Otherwise, we're going to just start chatting and see what happens. Lots of people in the chat today. It's always nice to see where you're all joining from. I keep getting questions about how the map works, and I wish I had a better answer than it's a big pile of ugly code I put together. But that's what it is. So yeah, got a couple of fun toys in today that we can play around with if we feel like it. There is this new Cosmo C2 from Hollyland. This is a new wireless HDMI transmitter and receiver kit. Maybe a little bit close. The cool thing about this is that it's actually, there's two of them. So there's two transmitters and one receiver, which has multiple outputs. So it's got outputs for each of the two transmitters that get connected, which is fun. It's got some other cool features too. So we'll see if we can play around with that and see what we can do with it. Great. All right. Nice to see the classic Mac position correctly today. Yes, it turns out that my camera contraption in front of me was, I had bumped it at some point, and it's not actually very tight. So this just kind of moves without the whole rig rolling, which is maybe not the best. It's kind of a weird setup I've got there. I don't know if I can show it to you very well. Maybe I can. Maybe I can get a close-up with this one. I've been playing around with this some more. This is the AVKANS that we checked out last week. It's cool. It's like, I'm 100% sold that this is a... If you're thinking about a GoPro, just scrap the GoPro and get this. It's the same price. It's actually cheaper, because you have to buy the media mod for the GoPro. And this can just do so much more. And it still has a battery inside. So it's pretty much all the advantages of a GoPro. I've got a video coming out soon about this, but if you've watched the live stream last week, you've already seen it all. Oh, Sven says 6 p.m. in Germany. First predictions for the election today will come soon. Wish us luck. Well, good luck. It's, yeah. Good luck. Okay. Oh, it turned on and it auto-connected. My Magewell already pulled up the NDI feed. Now I can show you this mount underneath. Please excuse the massive mess of stuff that behind the... So here I'll show you. I've just wedged the camera in there for a close-up look at the mount. This is what it looks like. So it's on a pole. I've got this Varipole. No, this is just a C-stand, and there's a clamp with a tripod ball head on its side, holding up the rig for the teleprompter. Which, is it the best? No, but it works. Link to the GoPro replacement. Oh yeah, let me grab that. Let me grab that link. It should be. Oh, it's probably not in the description today. I put it in the description last week. And I keep forgetting I need to fix my little auto button to send things to the chat. Yeah, no, it's not an action camera, but that's the thing. That's the whole point, is that I feel like for the most part, when people are asking me about whether they should use GoPros or how to get a GoPro connected into their live streaming kit, they're not actually using it as an action camera. They're using it as a studio fixed angle live streaming camera, and they just need it to be small and be able to put it in the corner and battery powered sometimes, or not even. So it's just, yeah. How is the zoom? It's actually got a real zoom on it too. So it has 3x optical zoom, it says, and I have to go and get the iPhone app running in order to show the zoom. But yeah. Kevin says, I don't know if you have specific contacts with Blackmagic, but any news about future 2110 equipment or the integration natively some of the cameras? Sometimes I have conversations going with people from Blackmagic, and usually when that is the case, I can't say anything about it. However, I do not have any information about 2110 updates from Blackmagic, but NAB is coming right around the corner, so we'll see what happens. Any experience with Blackmagic 2110? Studio cameras seem not to support it still. Yeah, I don't have any of the Blackmagic cameras anymore. I had one at one point. I had the Pocket Cinema 4K, but I ended up selling it and just switching over to the Lumix cameras. So I don't have any experience with their cameras, but I do have the some 2110 gear in here that I've been trying to get running. I have the little rack mount 3 in, 3 out box here, and I have the card in the computer. And I just figured out the right settings on, or maybe it was an update in the Unify network to let me actually run the 2110 network on the same wires as the rest of my network with proper. Oh, I remember what it was. I did swap out one part, and I still can't quite figure out what's going on with it. But the trick is that the 2110 traffic wants to just like broadcast everywhere on the network, and your switches have to be smart about not blasting it everywhere to gear that's not 10 gig capable. So if you look at my network map, which is a bit of a disaster, it's just large. It's going to get bigger very soon. So here's like, let's see, where's the studio? Here's my studio gear. I have in the rack, I have a 10 gig switch, and I also have a 48 port PoE switch in the rack below me. And then I have, this is the, why are those showing up? Why are those the only devices showing up on this map? I thought it was only routers that show up. Anyway, you can see that the 2110 gear is in here. And what ends up happening is, like, I've got a bunch of non-10 gig stuff in the network. Like, I have another rack, I have another switch. Like, the main switch here is not 10 gig. Then I've got a bunch of other stuff hanging off of that, like the small switches in the top. Here I've got a small switch for these 8 ports, and I've got another small switch over here for these, and all this gear is like connected to these other switches, because I didn't want to run the long Ethernet cables all the way down to the rack, so they're like plugged into there. Then there's one that goes down there, and those are all like not high bandwidth devices, so it's fine. Plus, then there's the whole table back there with its own, subset of switches. So not very much of this is actually 10 gig in the studio. So when these two things talk to each other, when I want to send a video feed from here to here, theoretically, it should only need to pass the traffic through this 10 gig switch and then back out to here. And keeping the 10 gig traffic just in this part of the overall network. However, that's not what's happening, and I haven't been able to track down exactly why. For some reason, it actually wants to push the multicast packets all the way back to the first switch in the chain here. So when this thing says, like, I've got a 2110 feed available, and this starts pulling it, it'll actually, you can see it light up all the way here, here, and here. And then it stops, and it doesn't try to push it back out to these switches. So the problem was that before, I did not have a 10 gig switch in as this part. So it was trying to push the 10 gig traffic through this, which was then overloading the switch. And basically, because this is like the start of the entire network in the building would go down, and like no devices would be able to talk because it was just completely flooded. So now that this has a 10 gig link on it, it's able to handle it. And the 10 gig traffic, you can see it all the way up to this switch. I still don't know why, because it only needs to go through this switch. And this should be aware of the multicast traffic. It's just not for some reason. So I need to fix that. There should be a setting in here. I've looked through the settings of, like, where is it? It's all using the global switch settings, but there's settings in here for, like, whether the switches are aware of multicast traffic, and that's all configured, from what I can tell, correctly. But yeah, so in the meantime, I at least can use it now, because before it used to just take down the network when I tried it. But I would still like to actually get to the bottom of that. 2110 requires 10 gig and its own VLAN. It does require 10 gig, because as soon as you send one video feed, that's 3 already. So the 3 feeds will basically max out your 10 gig network. And I don't remember if it needs its own VLAN, but I made it its own VLAN. It's usually a good idea too, anyway. Bailey says, wish I could stay and watch, but just finished an 18-hour shift and start again in 6 hours. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Yes, get some rest, says Gwen. Nils says, really hope you're getting paid royally, otherwise it's not worth it. I agree. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. TVJ says, hello, multicast is interesting, and I'm having PTB issues as well. Yeah. Adam says, talking to the triplex network, when is the move-in date? We are getting so close. The painters just finished our unit finally, so now we're on the home stretch here, getting everything set up, and countertops are the next big chunk. Still big question mark is power from the city. So still waiting on power, which means anything that I am doing in there right now is just running extension cords into the breaker panels and powering things that way, which is not ideal, but it does work. And yeah, hope it's in progress, but I don't know. I don't have a date. The Pixel Mint says, I asked someone from Unify at ISE about PTP support, and they said they're working on it for enterprise. Maybe it's related to this not being supported. It might be. That might be the case. So there is a relatively new feature in the Unify switches for what they call like Pro AV aware. I don't know exactly what that does, but that is clearly clearly related. Here is the setting I was talking about. It's this feature, multicast filtering. So this is supposed to reduce the multicast traffic on the network by only forwarding it to ports where receivers are connected. So theoretically, if a device starts making the multicast traffic available in a port, and then some receiver starts asking for it, it should, with this checked, it should be able to only forward the traffic to those individual ports or through whatever switches it needs to get to those ports. If it's on the same switch, it should never leave that switch, which is apparently not working 100% correctly. And I have put in my 2110 VLAN into this filtering thing. So yeah, I don't know what all those are. This is why 2110 is not just a straightforward replacement for SDI, because SDI cables, you see a cable, you plug it in to two things, and that's where the traffic goes. IP2110 is not at all like that. Well, I guess it can be. If you plug in a cable between two devices directly, then things will just work. But as soon as you put it into a network switch, you're all bets are off. Yeah. Okay, great. If you have a question, make sure you put the Q in front of it. Otherwise, it's going to get lost as the chat picks up here. Can you suggest a good box camera with 20x zoom? Most of the box cameras have interchangeable lenses, so it's up to you to find a lens that will give you the zoom you want. I have these little BGH ones around here, and I have a bunch of different lenses on it. This one is it's actually a 12 to 35. I usually have a 15 millimeter, but I guess I changed it when I did this setup. So it's a 12 to 35 zoom lens on it. My overhead one has the cheap basic like kit zoom lens. One of these has a 15. No, that one's a 25. I guess I'm not using my 15s right now. Anyway, you can get much bigger lenses with all the zoom that you want on them. Rafa says, while using the ATEM Extreme ISO, do you know, or is there a way to record just the active inputs or selected inputs, but not all inputs? No, there's no option for it. It's not really a problem because if you don't have anything connected into one of the inputs, it will record, but it records as just a file is just black. And because it's variable bitrate, it ends up being extremely compressed, and it takes up like 2 megabytes for an hour. So whatever, I don't remember. Don't quote me on that, but it's like a tiny little file that gets created with your black recording in it for the whole time. And so it's not like it's not really wasting disk space, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, every switch would need the multicast traffic in order to be able to offer it to clients connected. So yeah, normally that's the case, except that there is a special setting in the Unify for doing it more smart, where it only makes the traffic available to clients that are actively asking for it. So it's just apparently not totally working. It is clearly doing something, because if it weren't, I would try it right now, but it would literally take down my entire network, including this live stream. So it's not not ideal. I guess I could start streaming from my cell phone connection to do it, but it is not pushing the traffic out to like all of these parts of the network. But it does make it back to here. Actually, it may have stopped here, now that I think about it. And that suggests to me that maybe there's a feature in this switch that is not in this switch. You would think the 10 gig enterprise one would have it, but sometimes there's these little differences in features of these switches and for that kind of filtering. And that might be what it is. I wonder if we can figure out if it has that feature. That's the word. IGMP snooping. Yes. You're not going to break the stream testing. Just, I mean, it would not be very exciting because it will literally just take down the network. Also, like if you look at all the other devices in here, like I see my camera feed over there from the outside cameras. Those all just start like disconnecting and reconnecting, and all the the Wi-Fi access point can't even get into the network. So all the Wi-Fi devices disconnect and reconnect. It's wild. Maybe I should do it just so I can show you the chaos. What's the best way to do that? Maybe I can try. I should be able to get a backup stream going from off of my cell phone. Let me break and fix. How else will you learn it works? Yeah, this is why Netgear and a few others have AV specific gear, because it's its own animal. Yeah, totally. Should we do it? Maybe it's a little early for that much chaos. Maybe a little bit later. I got some good questions in here, so I don't want to derail the whole stream. Richard says, from New Zealand, having buffering issues using YoloLive and Starlink Mini, using ASP, going to YouTube. It seems all right if I drop the encoding settings down to 3 megabit upload, but not ideal. Any thoughts? That sounds about right. I'm not surprised that, so the longer, the more latency in the internet connection, you will just have to drop your bitrate down in order to make it work. ASP is their YoloLive's bonding thing, and that definitely does. It's a huge improvement over not using it. So I'm assuming that if you're having trouble with ASP on, if you turned it off and went straight through the network connection, it would be unusable. So you should be seeing a huge improvement by using it. But I'm not surprised that you have to drop your bitrate down. And if you are using the YoloBox Ultra, you should have the ability to use an H.265 encoder in it to go to YouTube, and that will mean that your 3 megabits gives you better picture quality than 3 megabits at H.264. So the other thing you can do is drop your resolution, of course. So if you drop your resolution to 720, then that will also, again, free up a lot of room. But yeah, it sounds like you're just in a constrained situation. Okay, other questions here. Smart says, ATEM Extreme via USB has lots of dropped frames. What can I do? That's weird. What are you going into? Would be my first question. The USB interface should not be dropping frames itself, but your computer might be dropping the frames from the USB interface. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me over USB, but it could just be that your computer is doing too much work, trying to do too many things, pulling in too many video feeds over USB. If you're going through a hub, that can also reduce the bandwidth available to USB, so try going direct from your computer to the ATEM, and that should clear it up. The Pixel Mint says, something I've noticed, which you may have the answer to, I've been using an ATEM Mini as a webcam source. The colors look really crushed compared to the deck link. Is this just a limitation? Yes, it is. I'm really actually surprised they haven't pushed out an update for this in all these years, but this is just the how it works. The color space on the USB webcam mount is different than the full color space. So if you have a like evenly exposed scene without a lot of brights or dark colors or dark areas, then you probably won't notice, like nobody will notice. But if you do have like things that are near black or near white, then those do end up getting squished out. So, and I am just surprised they haven't updated it since then. Daniel says ATEM switchers 9.7 enables up to 100 third-party cameras to control pan, tilt, and zoom by simply adding their IP addresses in the camera control tab of the ATEM software control. Yeah, that is... Where is my ATEM software control? Mine just sometimes just disappears. It's like it just silently crashes. Let's see if I can get it turned on. I think it's only on the TV studio models, though. I don't think it's on all of them. So I should be running 9.7. No, I'm not actually. Probably because I don't have anything that the update covered. So the first thing I would do, go to the website, go to support, go to ATEM production switchers, and look at the update. Oh, it was only on Tuesday. Wow, it's been a long week. But the reason I say this is because this will tell you which ATEM models are actually use this update. And it looks like it is the television studio models only, so not the Constellations or the Minis. But these just got a bunch of new features. Oh, cool. Yeah. USB webcam output source can be routed now. That's super, super important, actually. That's great. And then I think this is, yeah, the VISCA support for PTZ cameras. So, no update for me on my Constellation or ATEM Minis. But if you are using the television studio models, which are these ones, then go update and use all the new features. Pixelmint says, also had a nice chat with Obspot at ISE. Are you planning any content on the tail too? Yes, I believe I have one on the way now. So I will do some content on that. It looks like it's a solid upgrade from the original tail Air, which is exciting. It's also a lot more expensive, so better be good. Oh, back to the network. Scott says, in the Unified Port Manager on the Enterprise Switch, there is a way to define which ports are used for multicast that may limit where the multicast traffic is going. That sounds familiar, and I think I did that already. So if we go to the... if we go to the Port Manager... I have, this is the 2110. Now I already forgot what I was looking for. It's not a multicast router. Moderates the forward of broadcast unknown unicast and multicast packet. I don't know what that means. Yeah. See, this is the new feature, the Pro AV feature. Automatically matches latency sensitive audio and video traffic and prioritizes it over other traffic. So ultimately, like my first test was, can I get two devices on the same switch to send 2110 traffic? So I've got my rack mount thing and the card in the Mac. And theoretically, the 10 gig traffic, the multicast traffic should never leave the switch. Wait, is it going right now? It is. It is. Look at that. It's telling me it's 2.2 gigabits per second coming in on that port right now from the Mac, and it's not being received by anything. So if I start to pull it up on the network, then yeah, so so if I'm on here and I go and I pull up, I forgot that what is pushing video out of the, is it the, it's not my, it's not OBS. Decklink Duo is not turned on. Okay. I wonder what is using that device. Anyway, let's see if I can pull up the feed. Because if I do that, then SDI out. So let's put that on that screen. That screen gets ATEM 4, no, ATEM 3, and that is going to get the 2110. Nope, it's not. Or it's sending black frames because I see audio on it. Huh. So anyway, it is apparently active. Anyway, where was I? That got sidetracked. Yeah, what? Exactly. You have to change the manual advanced settings to access the feature. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not doing that now then, because that's going to mess up more things probably. Okay, back to some questions. Ian says, apart from the YoloBox, which other small switchers can do replay with? The Director Mini has some instant replay features in it. That is here. And let's see if I think I need to turn it on first. Let's go to the settings. Try to remember how to do this. There we go. Turn it on in there. It uses the two, it's not quite the same as like the YoloBox where you turn it on per camera angle, but it uses the two encoders that are in the Director Mini to as your replay buffer. So I can, for example, turn on the replay buffer for camera 1 here. And with that on, then if I put in, yeah, now I've got some replay options here. So then I can just go and say quick replay, and it's going to go, and now that's not me, that's the replay, right? That's what I just said like 10 seconds ago. So it works very different than the YoloBox, but it is, it does have some replay features there. Do people who use the queue to get your attention instead of actually asking a question get filtered out at the end for the question index on your site? The question index, so if you, there should be a link right now down below to all the questions that I have got to on this stream, but it's actually only including the ones that I show on the screen. So if you go to the link, or if you go to the site and then click on, like, here, I'll click on last week's, because it should have timestamps now. It'll jump to the timestamp where I showed it on the stream. So, not the timestamp of when you put it into the chat. That way it's actually like, you can be like, oh, let's see, we have a question about the RØDECaster video. Let's click on that and jump to here, and let's see if the timestamp, yeah, there it is. So here's the question. So it's doing the timestamp based on when I show it, not when people ask it. So if I never show a question, it'll never be in that list. So some people use the queue to get my attention with a comment about something, which sometimes I just ignore. Devante says, what's the best affordable IRL streaming equipment? That's, I think, a huge rabbit hole. I haven't tried that much IRL streaming either. So I've done a couple of things of like putting rigs on a bicycle, but I have never actually done like the backpack thing. So I don't know. I haven't like done a full survey of that area, if that makes sense. But I have used a lot of things that I would probably include in a kit like that. Actually, one of them, I'm kind of curious how this would work now with this AVKANS, because it's got a battery in it, so it can do a lot of things without having to run like a separate wire, and has many different ways to get the video out, including NDI, USB, HDMI. So that, I think, could be a fun one to try to put together a little rig with. Speaking of, I need to figure out what I'm bringing on this long trip coming up to do live streams. And we need the GoPro not even once overlay for the stream. Yeah, that's a good idea. I should do that. Yeah. Yeah, I need to figure out what I'm bringing for doing streams while I'm traveling on this next trip coming up, both for myself and for Lily's channel. And I think I'm torn between I'm torn between, like, there's so many good little cameras now that I may not even need to bring a ZV-1. So I am going to bring my big Lumix GH7 for taking photos on the trip. So I'm going to have that camera. So I should probably plan on piping that into the live stream just because it has HDMI. Makes sense, right? The question is, what is like the second camera I should bring? It could be this one. That would let me bring in this video feed over over wireless, possibly. Right now it's actually wireless on my it's going wirelessly into the stream. This is that little camera feed over NDI, and I can pull it up in the Director Mini also, so I would be doing it in the Director Mini. So let's go add NDI, and it should be, I think it's this one. I need to change that name. And oh right, no, I remember for some reason the NDI doesn't work on Director Mini, but it does work over SRT. So if I SRT to it, I don't remember the IP address. Anyway, it works fine over SRT. So I could do that to give me two angles. Or I could bring the Action 5, which this got an update recently, which is super, super cool because you can take a USB-C to HDMI dongle like you would use for a computer, and you can plug it in to this, and you get HDMI out. Look at this compared to the media mod on a GoPro that you would have to use. This is great. And you can also get these that are cables, so you can actually not even have to use a dongle, but just, I think I have one over here. I actually really like, oh, I lost it. I think it might be in a bag somewhere. But anyway, you can get this, which is basically, it's a dongle, but it's all in one cable with the other side HDMI on the end. That way you can just plug in directly. So you can use these as an HDMI camera now. Sadly, that update has not yet come to the Pocket 3, which is my other favorite little camera. But I could bring this anyway because it's fun to take time lapses with, and it does work over USB into the Director Mini. So I could do that. Really just need two cameras, I think, for the stream. So that's Director Mini option, or go a totally different route and try this. The KiloView P3 Mini, this, I'm still working on the setup video for it of how this works, but this takes an video input, HDMI or SDI, and it has a battery in it. I haven't really seen how long the battery lasts yet, but it also takes power. It has multiple SIM card slots, it has Wi-Fi antennas, it has an Ethernet jack as well. So if I can get this on the network, I can stream this into my studio. and run the stream remotely like I used to do for a little while. So that can be kind of fun as a way to test that. That would be just one camera, obviously, then. So yeah, don't know what to bring. Let me know what you wanna see. Okay, scrolling back through the questions here. Trevor says, can Companion activate a button on the Stream Deck when the Stream Deck is using its native software, or can Companion activate Windows hotkeys? So there is it's kind of the other way around. What you can do, which I don't really like to do it, but what you can do is you can run the Stream Deck software on your, like the native Stream Deck software on your computer, and have regular Stream Deck buttons that control apps and things like that. And then you can pull individual buttons from Companion into Stream Deck buttons on your computer. So I think I can show what this looks like, as long as it doesn't take over my Stream Deck. So here is, do I have it? I do, yeah. So I've installed the Companion plugin. Oh, I think it's not connected to anything, so it's not giving me any buttons. Oh no, there it is, yeah. So you can just drag in a Companion button into your Stream Deck, and then this, you would, you can set this to press buttons in Companion. So it's kind of the other way around than what you were describing, but you can mix and match. You can combine them that way. I would rather just have everything in the Stream Deck. And I just don't need to automate things on my computer, I guess. Brian says, while recording guitar tutorials, I would like to enter the file name via voice and a Companion button. Usually do it in Mix Effects with a keyboard. Can I define a text string file name via voice? How would you do that? I don't know how you would, because if you're doing it in Mix Effect, you can use the iOS voice keyboard, where it's like happening in the iOS layer. So the Mix Effect isn't even aware of it. But I don't know how you would do that with Companion. Yeah. Oh, this is regarding the C2. How is the 50 frames per second support for the HDMI UVC NDI streaming? Is it solid 20 milliseconds per frame? Any issues with blocking or compression artifacts and detailed scenes? We can test it, because I do have a way to do that. Let me see. So I've got, oh, that's a 4K. That may not actually be a good idea. I need to grab the 1080 version of that. I should have a 1080 60 clip. Yes. Treat SD cards like they are videotapes. So, okay, let me do this. Let me go and pop in an SD card with the 1080. Oh, it just switched over to the network. Let's go storage, active media, SD card. Okay, so I've got my little test clips running there, which means I have an HDMI port. It should be this one. Where is that going? Oh, it's going into, let's just double check this is actually showing me the right thing. Plug it in there, and yeah, there. Okay, so this is my stress test clip. I'm gonna drop the link for this here if you want to use it. I think that's the link. Yeah. You can read about what the clip does there, but it's basically for this exact purpose of testing out encoders. So we've got like a frame counter at the bottom. We've got some details, pixels, color, gradients, smooth gradients, circles, and you can kind of see how the signal degrades that way. So I've got that playing from this HyperDeck at 60 frames a second. Sorry, we're going to test it at 60, not 50, but same premise should apply. So what I can do now is take, just realize that's in the frame. I can take the Cosmo, give it the stress test signal, and now this should be transmitting that signal. So this one is, oh, I don't know how to tell which one's which. Oh, I can see the frame rate on the receiver. So on the receiver, I can see that transmitter A is sending the 1080-60 signal. So now we can look at the output of the 1080 of A first over HDMI and see what we see. This is going to be a little bit weird because the stream that I am streaming right now is 1080-30 to YouTube. So you are not going to see exactly the right thing, but I will be able to hopefully describe what I'm seeing. Oh, wow. That's not good. What is going on? Let's try this again. Can I use my 50 frames clip and not 60? Maybe. Let's see if I can find it and find an SD card. I don't think I have it on a card handy yet, but I think this card should work. The Behringer is also really, really picky about the format. So let me pop that into my computer and we'll see if we can load up that clip onto that card. I'll try this. I'll try this. Okay, that's Lumix. What's on here? Okay, just some test videos. Fine. Where are my clips? Test clips. Nope. Probably on my network drive. Let's try that. I just rearranged all of my files and my archives. So, oh, okay, I did find it. V2, 1080, 50. Let's see if this works. Couple seconds to copy. It'd be cool if you had a producer to do stuff like that while you do something else. I agree. I agree. That would be cool. Okay, that's fine. We've got that file on this card. Let me pop that one out and pop that back in. Theoretically, I should actually be able to play that over the network, but I don't have things quite set up that way. Storage, SD card, and 1080-50. Hey, it's working. Okay. And this now sees the 50 FPS feed. Great. Okay, so now we can take this output into the switcher and see what we see. This might be too much for it. My stress, so the whole point of the stress test clips is that they are meant to be extremely hard on the encoder by giving it too much detail to manage. And that is, in fact, what is happening. So I might need to go, yeah, oh, let me make a super source for this. Super source. I think I have a preset for this. Yeah. So here's what I'm seeing. Oops, that one. It's way jittery. It's terrible. It shouldn't be this bad. But I think it's because I'm giving it like the worst possible signal. So here, if I unplug this and give it like a normal video, what is plugged into that? Let's give it just like a side angle. So if I give it this, then now it's perfectly smooth and not jittery at all because this is a normal signal. This is 30 frames a second, of course, not 50, but that's not the thing that was killing it. Just to confirm that, I can take my, where did it go? 1080-30 clip into into the hyperdeck, and show you what that looks like, which I think is going to be just as bad. SD1. Okay, 1080-30. So let's grab the terrible signal and plug it in here. And oh, it is less jittery because it's less bandwidth. Wow. This is the Hollyland Cosmo C2, which Hollyland sent over a couple of weeks ago before it came out, and I unfortunately didn't have enough time to do a video before it was launched. Here's the link. But yeah, I do need a less stressful stress test. It's true. So okay, what your actual question was now that I've got it hooked up, what's any compression artifacts with 50 frames a second? So this is looking much better on at 30. Like I see all the frames. I don't see any frame drops. The compression is decent. It's, of course, in order to actually see this close up, what I'm going to do is, well, this is actually showing the output of the transmitter, and this is a 1080 screen, but I actually kind of want it up there on that monitor. So I can do that. Where is it? There it is. So here now I have a 1080 monitor that I'm looking at. Sorry, it's not like framed rate for you, but I can now see the pixel, accurate detail. And what I'm seeing is I'm looking at this one because this is where we've got a 1x1 pixel grid, and it is actually showing me all the pixels. It's obviously it's compressing it when they're moving, which is the point of that one, but I do see a lot of detail there, which is good. And it looks very crisp. Again, this is 30 frames per second. If I swap it out for the 50, it's that this stress test is apparently too stressful for it, and we require too much HDMI bandwidth to get that signal through. So this is the 50, and you can see it is dropping out because it's just too much. And of course, because this is going through my 30 frames per second gear, I'm seeing every other pixel anyway, or every other frame anyway, because I don't have a direct connection to the output. So do I have a I don't have a less stressful test. That's the problem. Now we're back at 30. And it's stabilized again. Yeah, sorry. So I don't have a good way to test that right now because I don't have anything except the super stressful version of 50. And I would need to actually make another 50 frames per second clip in order to test it there. But that's good. I will, because I am planning on doing a video about this to answer those kinds of questions. So I will do the work to create a 50 frames per second source clip with that's a little bit less chaotic and report back. Oh yeah, Photo Joseph has less stressful. His is more like just a sync. It's like the frame counter, which yeah, that would be a lot less stressful. I don't know if I can get it fast enough to try right now. Okay, back to the questions. I can route the stress tests back to that Mac. How about that? What do you recommend to remotely control audio levels? So there are some mixers that have remote control capabilities. There's some that have like an iPad app that you can get on the network that the mixer broadcasts to use the iPad app. The one that I'm using is the X32 rack, which is a large mixer, but they have smaller versions that do it as well. And that has a computer app that you can use as well as an iPad app. So here's what it looks like for me. This is going over the network. So this mixer could be anywhere on the network. And this is now I can control the mixer here. And I can also do it from their iPad app. So there are a couple different options for you there. Let me drop a link to that. This, again, the X32 is probably bigger than you need. They have a smaller, cheaper version of it as well. Here, I'll drop the link to the XR18 is one of them that has this. Manuel says, with the YoloBox Ultra, what would be the best budget gear for transmitting video outside from behind the plate to the side of the first base where all my other gear will be? So these transmitters are actually a pretty good option for that. They're made for basically exactly that. There's a range of why is it? Did I push a button? I think I did. It's blinking at me. Yeah. There's a range of prices of these, but and this one's the dual kit, so you don't need the dual kit, but they have a cheaper one that is just one of these, and not exactly budget, but it's good. So would probably go with that. And because I'm guessing you won't be able to run a cable that distance. If you can run a cable, do that because it's always better to run a cable. But I'm guessing you probably don't want to run a cable. And then a lot of these will have different power options. So this one has battery, Sony battery, USB power, and DC power options available. So the different versions have different combos of power supplies, though. So shop around for those. More C2. Any issue on direct live streaming? Can you specify frame rate, bit rate, and codec for PAL streams? Is the NDI bitrate configurable? Is H.265 supported from all outputs? Good questions. These are all questions that I will make sure I cover in the detailed video I do about this. So my initial testing of this is that when you're using the NDI or streaming options, it's whatever is the input. So this input right now is from the transmitter is 30 frames a second. So that's what it would be encoding the NDI feed. And if you give it a 60 or 50 or 24, you know, that's what the NDI feed would be. So you don't get any control other than just the source material. And the NDI bitrate, I don't think I remember seeing anything on that. So there's the way it works is you go in here and you go to streaming, and you can choose whether you want the receiver to output UVC, NDI, or RTMP. And if you choose NDI, that's it. It's just now you have NDI. But there's no options. So I should be able to pull that up on NDI monitor on the computer and see how this looks. It's gonna let me do it. Or is this too much for it? Maybe if I... Weird, now it's not coming up on my Mac. Can I get it on the ProConvert? This is plugged in, right? Yes, okay. Oops, I don't know what's going on. It was, did I slip on that? Yeah, NDI is selected. Okay. Not sure what happened to the NDI feed. Anyway, the other option that you have is RTMP, and you have to put this into RTMP mode in order to do that. So you have to go back to streaming, RTMP, and then in order to set up the RTMP, you go to the website. So there's a web interface for it here, where this gives you a place to punch in the RTMP address and stream key, which I actually have it set to go to the ProConvert right now. So why did I lose my... Maybe it's this cable that's bad, actually. Let's swap this one out. Sometimes it's the HDMI cable's fault. Let's try this one instead. Oh geez, I closed the cable in that box. Let's try that one. Great, that's better. Now, see if I can handle 50 on that. See if it was the cable's fault. Nope, it was not the cable's fault. Still jittery. Okay. I just noticed that the signal dropped out, and I was like, well, that's the cable's fault because everything else is fine. Anyway, what I wanted to show was RTMP out. So if I have my stream key set, I start streaming from the website from this thing, and then it's now streaming that signal into the Director Mini, which is here. So this is coming into via RTMP from the receiver over the network, which is pretty cool that I can do that. So we've got a wireless link from here to here. This is on the network. This is on the network. This is streaming over RTMP into that. And it works all the way there. Now what happened to the... I just noticed that's black. Do we not get HDMI out when we're streaming? Now it's back. Let's see. If I start streaming, does that kill the HDMI? Oh, thanks for the loading icon. No, HDMI is still going. And now it's also streaming. So I don't know what that was. Okay, weird. Okay, more questions. IT Never Gets Old says, is there any more info on the Elgato Stream Deck PoE adapter controller for buttons companion usage? Oh, I heard about that. I haven't seen it, but I heard they had that at the, was it ISE? No, I haven't heard anything more. That's super cool. I just realized my chat's showing up in the director menu too. That's pretty fun. Speaking of companion, do you know of a way to have a companion button switch between two feedbacks with the press of the button? Input meters versus output meters. Oh. Can you do that? I don't know if you can do that. Because if you're in companion and you're making you do feedback, how would you... I don't know if I have a... Let's see. What do I have that might have... I feel like something had a audio meter on it. Not gain, but... Anyway, it doesn't really matter what I choose because I don't think it's going to work. So... Can you change the feedback by pressing a button? Can you do feedback based on like a variable? Can you do it this way? Maybe. If you check, no, it needs to be a condition of some other thing. So no, I don't think it's gonna work. I don't see a way to do it. If anybody else has any ideas, let me know. Make multi-step buttons with actions to check the variable, then force push button. Feedback can change button text. So if the metering is text-based, it should be possible. Use custom variable to toggle. I'm trying to think. This is a tricky one. Multi-step button, but the feedback is not per step. I'm not quite able to put this together in my head. Might need to see it. Might need to think through this separately. Each step has its own feedback settings. That's not what I'm seeing because if I have two steps or more, there's press and release actions, and feedback is just over here. So, yeah. Companion satellite, is it possible to have more than one remote stream deck on the remote computer? Oh. That's a good question. Can you have more than one stream deck in the remote computer? I've never tried that. Do I have an easy way to test this? Not really. Because now I'm running Companion on my Mac, not on the Raspberry Pi also. Shoot, I don't know the answer to that one. Okay, more suggestions. Multi-step to set the variable base on off. And then in feedback, use the check value. Okay, so multi-step would set a variable. That makes sense. So I can go to, I can go set a variable. I need to go make a variable for it, but I can like, let's go make a variable for it. Where is it? Custom variables, create a custom variable. So we're going to say it's feedback. Okay, so here's a variable. It has no value. We're going to make this button set feedback to 1 on step 1. Here we're going to set it to 2. We'll get rid of that. Then the feedback, but the problem is that this is just going to, so let's say I had, I can do it with the streaming encoder, right? So here we have, oh, that's text. That's not even feedback. That's what it is. So the button text string, we might be able to do it here. You can use variables, but not expressions. So we might be able to do it. What we need ultimately is the text of the button to show something different based on that variable. So here I would need to say like, let's make it. So if I do that, now I'm changing the button. The button text shows me 1 and 2, which is not helpful, but I want to now say if the feedback is 1, I want this text to be the stream time of the ATEM versus the or instead of like the web presenter or something, right? In the feedback, when you see background and text color, click the drop down arrow for more options. So this still doesn't help me, because unless I can use an expression here. No, you can't use an expression here either. Because the problem is that I want, okay, let me grab an actual example of what I want to show. So instead of here, it doesn't matter. Let's do it with feedback. So let's say stream, where is it? ATEM SDI. I thought I had, what is this one doing? Stream duration. So here's an example of something I want to put on this button, right? So the feedback would be, it's a variable. Well, it's just the, okay, check value. Can I do it? Can I do this? Variable custom feedback is 1. Then text is, aha, I can do it. Oh my God, okay. So this is ATEM SDI. Then can I do it by copying this and say if the value is 2, then I can get that from a different device. Let's see. Do I have another ATEM stream here? This is going to work. This is what you're trying to tell me to do. What else should I put on there? How about a HyperDeck? HyperDeck 1, and we'll say it's where it's like the current time code there, that one. So then I go over here, and if the feedback variable is 2, then we say the HyperDeck is, it copied the value, not the variable. I want it to copy that. Okay, now if I push that button, it switches between showing me the hyperdeck time and the ATEM SDI time. And now it's doing what you want. That's what you wanted. So replace this with whatever you want. I'm just doing stream duration, but you could do it with audio meters as well. Whew. We got it. That was the trick. Okay, where was I? Can NDI cameras and Dante mixers play nice without a VLAN, or is it absolutely necessary? NDI definitely can. You probably, so the problem is that the VLAN really helps you organize the traffic. So if you have just everything on one network, it'll work. It's fine. But you're just gonna find there's a lot of the broadcast traffic is it gets messy, and it'll be like going out your Wi-Fi access point and all that. So it's a good idea to use a VLAN for that. Dante, I think, does not play nice with anything else, and you absolutely want like maybe even separate networking gear, physical gear for the Dante network, because it's so latency sensitive. I don't think anybody would recommend putting Dante gear on your main network, but you can get away with NDI, especially NDI HX, because it's compressed. If that's all you want, you don't need a variable, just feedback on step 1 or 2. Is that really true? Aha, internal button, check the step. I didn't know about that one. So you can do it without a variable. You can say if the button is on step 1, then do this. There's so many companion actions. And then you can say if the button's on step 2, then you do this one. We can change the background color for fun also. And now it works. And now we can get rid of the variable. We just have to have empty step buttons. That's better. That's cleaner. I like it. Great. Much better. Let's delete that variable so I don't have it hanging around. Cool. Great. Where was I? Oh, wow. We've been going for a while. The Pixelman says, I was assured at ISE that the PoE thing is supported in the regular version of Companion, but they didn't fill me with confidence. Okay. Michael says, I would add that in stadiums like that, antenna orientation matters significantly. If a receiver is higher up in a press booth, you want to have them at an angle. Yeah, that is a very good point. Antennas are, so they're meant to be, you're meant to be lined up. So this is correct. This is correct. This will be a problem. At this distance, it doesn't matter because there's nothing in the way, but at a longer distance, doing it like this, the signal will degrade quickly. So if you tilt them to the same way, then the signals are in line, and everything will be happy. So that's one of the reasons that these all have these little flexible antennas in the first place, so that you can like put it on a camera and then still get your antennas pointed the right direction. And I got them all untwisted. Can you recommend a good NDI app for Android? I haven't looked around too much. I actually mainly just use the the main NDI app from Sienna. I've definitely use it on iPhone. I think I downloaded it once on Android, but I can't remember now. It's fine. It's like $20 or something, which whatever, I guess. That's how it goes. Should be fine. I think it's NDI HX, which makes sense because you really don't want to push 100 megabit feed out of your phone's Wi-Fi. Oh, question from earlier. I missed this. Do you recommend a quiet slider for a podcast studio 4 to 6 feet away from the talent? I'm thinking of attaching an OBSBot Tiny Air with auto tracking onto the slider. That's a fun idea. Okay, two things. One, a couple of weeks ago, I had a slider on the stream when I was doing the stream in the other house, and it is very quiet. So that was nice. Let me find that link. I think it's this one. YC onion hot dog slider, and that is what it looks like. So it's all packed up right now, but it's about 4 feet. Yeah, I think it's 4 feet long. Maybe it was 3. I don't remember. Anyway, good range of motion on it. One of the cool things about it, though, is that you may not even need the PTZ head because, although if it's actually 4 feet from the talent, you might. But the reason I say that is because there's in the track. I don't know if I'm able to describe this well. Let's see. They probably don't have any. Oh, they do. I have a picture of it here. So the way it works is this crossbar, you can adjust it. And if you have it tilted at an angle like this, then as this thing slides across the range, the thing that your tripod head is mounted to actually turns. So it without anything electronic, it's all just mechanical. Your camera will actually keep pointed at some point in the middle, and you can adjust whether you want it to be like a small turn or like a bigger tilt, based on how much you've adjusted that crossbar, which is a really cool feature. So you can use just a regular camera and not have to have a PTZ head on it, and still get that effect of keeping the person centered in the frame. If it's actually 4 feet away, that's really close. So it may not be able to do that tilt that extreme, in which case then the PTZ, the auto tracker OBSBot would be kind of a cool trick. The official NDI HX camera app doesn't support manual white balance, so any alternative would be welcome. That is a really good point. That's annoying. Yeah. Please tell me live stream after PC and YouTube. I mean, the easy free option is OBS for sure, but I try to avoid using software, and I like to stick to hardware options. So, but yeah, OBS for sure is a good way to start. Are you able to talk about the instant replay alternative coming soon? I don't even remember what it was. What was I talking about? Oh, this battery finally died. My little tiny batteries don't last very long. What was I thinking of? Instant replay alternative. I don't even remember. So no, apparently not. Yeah. Novin says, can we transmit video over IP using HTTP-based T transmitter to multiple receivers in an office network provided with the bandwidth, or can we assign IP over existing office subnet? No. So those transmitters aren't, they're not like, it's not like an IP network that you can plug into your regular switch, it requires like a single cable between them. There are some boxes that can plug in multiple cables. Like you plug in one video signal and it has multiple Ethernet or HDBaseT outputs where you would run separate wires to each receiver. So that can work. But if you want to go over like an existing network, that's exactly what NDI is for. So NDI will work exactly that way, where you can put, so like this camera is on my network right now. It's on the Wi-Fi, and it's got an NDI feed published, and I can pull up that camera's video feed now in multiple places. So I can pull it up with my Pro Convert. I can pull it up on the Director Mini. Well, NDI does, for some reason that camera's NDI feed is not compatible with the Director Mini, but theoretically it would be able to. I have other NDI feeds on the network. I have a PTZ camera. That one works. So this is my PTZ camera, also from AVKANS, and this one works. And it's just sitting over there on the table, or on the back wall, and I can pull up that feed in multiple places. So I can pull up one copy of it here. I can pull up one copy of it on my Magewell Pro Convert. I can pull up a copy on the NDI Monitor app on a computer. So that's what you're looking for. How many isolated feeds can the Director Mini record? I believe it has just the 2 encoders. So it's not exactly an ISO recorder. The way this works is if you go to the settings, there's this encode tab, and there's 2 encoders. And you can choose 2 different things to encode. And this applies to recording as well as streaming. So you can choose whether you want it to be the program feed or one of your video inputs or multi-view. So if you want to use it as a 2-input ISO recorder, you can set your video source for the 2 encoders to HDMI 1, HDMI 2, but then you don't have a program feed encoder. So it doesn't work the same way as a like an ATEM or the YoloBox do ISO recording. For HDBase question, you may be able to patch around switches with the existing wires, so it's a single connection. Yeah, totally. So if you have a building wired with a bunch of Ethernet runs, they're probably all running to the network closet. And right now they might be plugged into your network switch, which you could unplug and plug them into the transmitter, the HDBase transmitter receiver kit. And that way you can use the existing wires, but you just can't run it through your actual network switch. Cool. Okay. Thank you for the questions on the Hollyland transmitter. That is helpful. I'm going to try to answer those questions when I do the actual video, and I'm going to make a new 50 frames per second clip that I can use to test that. That's a little bit less aggressive about how much HDMI bandwidth it takes. And then we'll be able to count the frame drops and latency and things like that. It was in Discord. What did I say in Discord? Well, I'll have to look at that later. Probably the answer is no, I can't say anything about it yet. I don't even remember what I was talking about, though. If you are a channel member, thanks. And make sure you've found the section at the bottom that has a link to the members only Discord where you can join and chat about things throughout the week. Oh, I remember what I wanted to do once we were at the end of the show. I wanted to trash my network. See if we can flood my network with 10 gig traffic and take down all my devices and cameras. So let's try that. That'll be fun. First thing I have to do is get my shows streaming from a device that is off of the network so that I don't the stream doesn't just completely die. So what we're going to do is, I think what we're going to do, all this gear is fine because it's all wired video. So I think what I'm going to do is get my Director Mini on my cell phone streaming that way. So let's get the personal hotspot turned on, and I'm going to connect this to my Wi-Fi, and I'm going to unplug it from the wired network so that we're just totally isolated. Let me get this connected before I show the screen again. Typing in the Wi-Fi password. Okay. The Director Mini is on my phone's Wi-Fi, and let's now make sure that this is actually going to do what I want. So I don't need the sound from that. It's going to be doubled. I'm going to turn off all the other sounds. I'm going to turn off. I'm actually going to get rid of these extra feeds. I can leave that one in. I don't need that one. Okay. And then we're going to make sure that we have audio from HDMI 1 on. And this should now be the same as my show. Oh wait, no, that is my main camera. I want to, where is this coming from? It's coming from that patch panel. So we're going to go and change that to be ME1. Okay, so now the Director Mini is showing the main show that I'm switching. So that's why you're seeing the overhead shot in the Director Mini, which means I can now go live from this and push to the, I think what I'm going to do is push to the backup. Oh yeah, I'm doing SRT right now. Oh, I need to copy my SRT stream key, and so I'm going to give it my wire connection really quick just to do the config. Because it's just a lot easier to configure the Director Mini with the web page. So I'm going to go to the stream. I'm going to set up a manual SRT connection. So SRT caller, we're going to say it's the backup URL to YouTube. Oh, and then we have to take that up 2010. And okay, and then we've got, ooh, I did this once before, and now I remember there was a trick. Stream ID, and there was a trick to it. Let's see if I can remember. Also, I don't want to show you my stream keys. There is a stream key and a passphrase. So I think it was, oh, there was a trick to it. Okay, hang on. Did I keep? No. I really need a screenshot of this so I can remember. Oh my God. There was a trick to it. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to try it. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to. This may take a couple of attempts before I can remember how this actually works. Did I do it on the first try? It's streaming. No, it's giving me red. Okay, I think that means it's not working. Yeah, no, it's not working. It's saying 0 over here. There was something else I need to do. It was like a thing I needed to put into the stream ID field. Last time I had this question, I looked up my own video from when I did this. This was this video. So here, somewhere in here, I had the Director Mini webpage up, and that was to the streaming bridge. Wow, this was a while ago. This was my old layout. That's the PDF I was looking for. Stream ID, that thing. So we finally got it to work. Like that. Okay. Did that work? I remember going through this before. This was the trick. Stream ID is added by the Director Mini, but I need all the other junk. So it needs to include pound. I really need to make this into a video, apparently. Okay, that did it finally. So that was show the screen. Ah, what was it? That. So it is the password, and then it's, oh my god, pound exclamation point colon colon u equals, and then the stream key, copy equals 0. Wow. Okay. Pound exclamation point colon colon u equals. Let's try that. Connect. And hey, there it goes. Wow. I'm going to have to make a video about this. Maybe I can do that later today. So I can finally, yeah. Okay, anyway. Now we're pushing to the backup URL. So now I should be able to actually cut off, screenshot the settings for next time. Yes, I should do that right now before I forget. I have to stop in order to do that though. Okay, so streaming to the backup URL. My ATEM is streaming to the primary URL, which means I should be able to stop the primary stream and the stream will keep going. Are we ready? I just saw buffering, or did we lose him in the chat? Hence why the beach. I didn't even see the beach ball. I was lost in thought. Okay. With any luck, I am not going to go offline as soon as I do this. So what I'm going to do is pull up a copy of this, go over to this camera so we can see it here. And I'm going to stop the main stream. And, oh, I need to also unplug Ethernet from the Director Mini because I want to make sure that it is going over my cell phone connection. So it dropped, reconnected. Now it's going over my cell phone's connection. Now we're ready. So now I should be able to cut the stream from the ATEM. You should see that go off. You should see that go off air, and then this should keep going. Ready? 3, 2, 1. The ATEM, you should see that go off. You should see that go off air, and then this should keep going. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and we're off. And it looks like different latency, but oh yeah, it looks like it backed up a little bit. There's my countdown again, and we're still online. Okay, that means everything's fine. Yeah, ready, steady, go. It backed up like 5 or 10 seconds. Yeah. So I think what that means is for whatever reason, the Director Mini's feed was slightly off sync compared to the ATEM's. But now we're going off my cell phone connection. not at all tied to the network in here. So now I can go ahead and mess up my network real bad. So in order to do that, let me pull up, what am I going to do? I'm going to go first into OBS because I need something in that deck link card. Oh, double chat overlay because I have it as an overlay here also, which is not necessary because my ATEM is pushing out the mix. So the director mini is getting like the main program feed out from my main stream, including the chat that the ATEM adds. And I also had the web page pulled up here, so that was showing up twice. Now it should be only showing up once, which is only from the ATEM. So you can see it in the HDMI feed. It's not coming from the director mini anymore. Okay. So, oops. I'm going to do for over here is I'm going to put OBS into studio mode. So I get a preview. And in the preview, we're going to add... we're going to... Let's see. Can I just do like the weather? Yeah. So the weather's over there in preview. And now I can go to the deck link output and say that the preview output should go out on... not the deck link, the deck link IP. So this is my IP2110 card in the Mac. And if we start that, it should be saying the preview output to the 2110 network here. And now if I go look at, okay, so the Mac is now pushing out that feed. So I should be able to pull it up on here now. So if I go to menu, SDI1, oh yeah, so it is set to the 2110 video. And I need to look at the output of that somewhere. So I'm going to send the output of that down to this little screen. So the output of... Oh, it's in the ATEM. ATEM 3 gets the 2110 output 1. Oh, it's working. Great. So that is actually coming from OBS. OBS's preview output is being sent out the 2110 card in the Mac. This box, and we're seeing it here. So we're seeing that same thing there. And that is very warm in Bangkok. I am a little bit scared about going there soon. And then let's see, do we see the traffic showing up in the network switch? We do. Okay. So now I'm seeing here, we're seeing this activity now in the 2110. Are those labeled wrong? I feel like, why is it the transmitter? I wonder if I've labeled these wrong. Because it should be the Mac that's doing the sending at a gigabit. Okay, so let's do it again, but this time at a second feed here. What can I send out another deck link? So I'm going to go into the menu and say SDI 2 is going to grab the deck link IP2, even though it doesn't have any video, but I'm going to put it onto that screen, which is going to come out of the ATEM. ATEM 2 gets IP2110 2. Okay, so it's black. That's fine. I need something on my computer to push video out of that card. I guess it's going to be... I think I only really have... I think I only really have OBS, which means I am going to actually go and use the director menu for the chat, because I'm going to turn off the chat on my main stream. We're going to turn that off, And then we can go into OBS and say, do that. And then let's make that green. Let's go into the deck link output and turn off the Ultra Studio 4K and push the program out of the second 2110 feed. And sure enough, okay, it's working. So far, so good. We have in OBS, we have a preview feed with a green background, a program feed with a black background. We've got the weather ticker, and I can see program over here and preview here. These are the 2110. This is the output of this device. So I'm now pushing two 2110 feeds over the network. How bad is everything else? I am trying to crash my network. And there's the chat. Great. How is the 2110 feed getting audio? The output of the ATEM is being sent into the deck link. So it's just the program audio. Okay, now we check on the Unify network. I really wish I had more. I need to do more in OBS to give it more than just a static graphic. So what we're going to do is add, we're going to add a capture card, Blackmagic. Let's add a, that's not going to work. No, actually, no, it should. The deck link, one of these is set up, maybe not. No, not that. Let's add a capture card. I should have another capture card on here. I guess it could be the ATEM. That's a little bit weird. It's not going to work either. How about if I plug in a new capture card? That's what we can do. So, oh yeah, here. I can actually do it with, this. And I can give it my stress test clip. That's going to really throw it for a loop. Okay. So there it is. USB video. You're gonna show up? No? Is that too much for it? Why is that not working? I don't know why that capture card isn't working in OBS right now. I guess let's try one more thing. How about NDI? And let's grab my PTZ camera. Aha, there we go. And then we can go and make it smaller. And let's go push that over there and then turn off the green background there and go like that. Turn it back on. Okay, so now we have something a little bit more interesting. We've got, just so we can see this, we've got a camera with a green background and a ticker, camera with a black ticker, black background and a ticker. We've got the program over here, preview over here. These are coming over 2110. So now we can actually see that this is real and moving. 2110 doesn't care about the content. Yeah, that is true. It is a full frame, but I wanted to just be able to show better, like to show, where's the camera? Show the movement. Yeah, the weather is cycling through the places people have checked in from today. So that's, you should see your city weather somewhere in there at some point. The NDI is over the same network, so that camera is going to fall apart too, which will actually be a good demonstration of the chaos that will ensue. So now if we look at the stats on the router, we've got 2 gigs. Need to not click on it. 2 gigabit there and there. So I can see that we've got a, this must be labeled wrong. Transmitter receiver. So The computer is transmitting, the 2110 box is receiving. So the question is, how is it doing with the rest of the network? And if I look at this view, oh yeah, there's no way to show, I wish it would show, let me show LAN traffic, but it doesn't. But what I can do is I can go to, so what should be happening is the 2110 traffic should be going, it's going between these two devices, and it should only be touching this switch. If I look at this switch and go to the port manager, I can see there's the traffic, right? You can see the little progress bars here. But we can also see, and this is the problem, that it's also sending the traffic out. Why is it called RX? Okay. Why is it called RX? Anyway, I see the traffic in the 48 port switch, which is, it should not be there. So if I go to this one, which is here, go to this port manager. That's not the right switch. It is going to this switch. Where is it? Oh, weird. Why is it not showing up here? But if I go to this one, it does show up. I'm very confused about what this little blip is showing me here. Garage 48 port switch. It's the uplink from this one, which is, it should not be sending it to. And if I go here, oh, there it is. Okay. So I got a bunch of cameras, which makes sense. Those are the security cameras. Here it is. This is what's wrong. So we're getting data from the 10 gig switch into this switch. It should not be there. It's also passing it to the 24 port switch in the closet, which it should also not be doing. So if we go to that one, here I can see the traffic again. And then it ends. Notice that this switch is not sending it farther. So this is the garage 24 port. So it's going from, it's going from here to here to here. This is also super confusing. So this is where the traffic should be. For some reason, it's sending it out here. And then this one is sending it out to here. And then it stops. So because these are all 10 gig links, everything's fine and my network is not down. But as soon as I try to, as if it were trying to push it out one leg further, these don't have 10 gig links. So then it would totally take the network down. So everything's fine. Because it stops there. So now we try to break it. Let's start by turning off that setting, which is this one. Turn off multicast filtering. And this is, I think, going to break the network. So let's see if we can. Problem is, it might actually break it so much that my computer won't even work. So the question is do we see that it's trying to send the traffic out from here now? So it's already got more traffic, and then does this have any downlinks? It does. It has these switches, which might start getting flooded. So I'm taking a look at my screen of cameras over there to see if it starts freaking out. Yep, there it goes. All the cameras are disconnecting and reconnecting now. So I'm guessing that these are going to drop pretty soon. Oh, good time. Lily just got home and now the Wi-Fi is going to be broken. That just disconnected. I got a notification on my phone that devices are dropping off the network. All the cameras are down. Oh yeah, look at this. it's completely flooded all of these ports. So it's completely broken. Everything is down. Let me put it back. I'm just getting so many alerts. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bring it back. The message from Eric just got spewed into the chat here because this computer is having trouble getting to the network, so it... Oh my god. Okay, come back. Now we wait for it to recover. I'm actually kind of surprised Companion's even working. Okay. What was that? Oh, this just battery just died also. Sorry, the Wi-Fi is down.
Oh, the Wi-Fi is down. Interesting.
It'll come back. And this just came back online. The 2110 feeds got reset, but let's see. Oh, the cameras came back. I see the cameras over there now. So I think we're back. So now we know that that setting does in fact do something. That was the test. So multicast filtering is sort of working. The problem is that it just doesn't quite do it exactly right. So it should have kept the multicast traffic here, but instead it sent it down here and there for an unknown reason. And that didn't break everything because these all have 10 gig uplinks between them. But as soon as I turned off that feature, yeah, now the whole network map is getting messed up. TVJ says, I'm reading about setting the IGMP querier. Is the switch you want to have the traffic the lowest IP address? I have no idea what the IP addresses are of any of the switches. They're all just DHCP'd. Should that matter? So I did set the STP priorities recently, but that I think is not related. So the oh, and these just came back. And we're recovered, fully recovered. Wow, that was a mess. That 100% would have taken down the stream if I hadn't switched over to the Wi-Fi or the phone. I'm reading that fast leave needs to be on. I remember seeing that setting somewhere. Let's see where that is. Fast leave. Immediately remove. Okay, not fully recovered apparently. Immediately removes ports from the forwarding table when IGMP leave message is received for a multicast group. Doesn't seem like it'll hurt anything. Okay. Set a switch as the querier for a specific network using IGMP. I have no idea what that does. There's a lot of settings here. Okay. Lumix tether is still not quite recovered. What switch was at the front of your network that may or may not be supported? So that was the, which apparently is not true anymore because it didn't break in the same way that it used to because I replaced some of this. But see, what's weird to me is that, so it did, wow, it's really trying to map out the network again now that everything's getting reconnected. What's weird to me is that even though the traffic made it here, it didn't try to go to this one, which only has a gigabit link. So somehow this switch forwarded the traffic to that switch, but not to that one, which is correct. I just don't know why. And yeah, my network has been reconfigured, so I don't remember what switch it was that was in the place of this one before, but I replaced this one recently. So the real question is this going to work when I plug in the 10 gig switch into the new house with a fiber link between them? And will I be able to keep a 2110? Oh, getting glitch art must be, yeah, it's gotta be, so it's we're streaming now from the Director Mini, so I'm at the mercy of my phone's bandwidth. It is SRT, but I am also doing H.264, not H.265, so. TVJ says, an IGMP query is a multicast router that sends IGMP queries to determine which multicast groups have listeners on a network. This helps ensure that multicast traffic is delivered efficiently. Sounds like I need that. That sounds like what I need. If I turn on create a new query switch, set a switch as the query for a specific network. Okay, so if I have this, I probably want to use it's a weird set of switches that are supported here. I guess I'm going to do this one. Let's do that. Okay. My Raspberry Pi got completely kicked off of the network. I think it's actually on Wi-Fi. That's probably why. So the chat comments are not even showing up there anymore. Let's fix that. Nope. It's dead. It got kicked off completely. I'm gonna have to fix that later. It's generally a good idea to have SMPTE 21. Let's see. I don't actually need multicast filtering on that. So I have a separate VLAN for the 2110 traffic. I think what I tried to do was in the rack switch. So no, if I go back here. So what I should be able to do, for example, is completely disable the 2110 network on this switch, because this is like the one that goes to the internet, right? So I should be able to support all of the VLANs except 2110. But this is why I'm saying it's a lot of work to configure, because I have to basically do this for each one. Or maybe I can make a port group or something, or a switch group profile or something like that. Anyway, what I need to do is I need to do this, prevent this switch from ever passing 2110 traffic on through that port, and then do that for all of the switches. Because, well, actually, you know, it really would be this one that I should do it on, because this is like the gateway to most of the other devices. So if I'm here and I, oh wow, oh god, okay, everything is chaos. I hope this recovers. So this is the one coming from the 10 gig switch. Here, I should be able to, if I block everything but the 2110, or if I allow everything except the 2110 VLAN here, theoretically, then no 2110 traffic would ever get through this switch. So I do that and go back here. This actually, maybe I should test this right now, because theoretically, if I turn off the IGMP snooping thingy again, or the multicast thing, this leg of the network should get all messed up, but these should not now, because it should never let the 2110 traffic filter out past there. Should I try that? Like and subscribe before he crashes the stream entirely. Technobuzz, thank you for the super chat towards the Chaos Fund. Thanks. Oh, and I just realized I probably turned off the sound effects from here. Let's bring that back. Try that again. There we go. I think I saw the sounds from that. I appreciate it. Chaos Fund. You will not find content anywhere else like this on YouTube except TVJ's demos. Yeah. Okay. Oh my god. No, Pro AV mode is not enabled. Sounds like you may need to enable multicast router port on your uplinks. Let's figure this out. So, no, I want to try this first. So I want to turn back on the chaos, and we're going to watch the network fall apart again. I've been streaming so long that my do not disturb turned off. Okay, so we're going to turn off multicast filtering, but this time it shouldn't entirely fall apart, because this switch should not be allowing any of the 2110 traffic past it. Oh, nope, it all fell apart. Oh, wait, the cameras are not plugged into that switch, are they? Okay, well, let's see. Let's go to, like, this one. How are we doing here? That one's fine. This one is... what's the deal? Oh, everything's falling apart again. That just gets disconnected. That just disconnected. Okay, what was it that TVJ just said? Enable the multicast router port on the uplinks. So if I go to a switch, here's the uplink. Define support where a multicast router is connected for one or more networks. Oh, but I don't have the... Oh, because I turned off the filtering. So I do need this, it turns out. We're going to filter multicast traffic again. Oh, and let's turn on fast leave. And I lost my carrier switch. And configure multicast router ports. Stay. Studio rack switch. And where is the multicast router port? I don't understand this. Defines the port where a multicast router is connected for one or more networks. But this is the switch. Yeah, I don't understand this. Anyway, hopefully things start coming back together again. Yep, there come the cameras. This is getting reset again. Pro AV on Unify uses quality of service to automatically optimize traffic for specific audio and video environments by matching and prioritizing latency-sensitive traffic. Sure. I don't think that's going to help this. Can you try sending key and fill over the 2110 from OBS and see if it's in sync? Oh, that's an interesting idea. Sure. Actually, no, I don't think I can, come to think of it. Let's stop the deck link output. Let's see if I can. Device IP1 keyer. Nope, I can't. I can't send key and fill out separate deck link devices. So that's why you need the Ultra Studio, because it has the this keyer external option, and that's what you need in order for it's the Ultra Studio generating the two signals, not OBS. So I can hear all the cameras coming back, and that tablet just updated again. Okay. The NDI feed has been stable in OBS. That's good. Okay. That, I think, is where we're going to leave it today. And then I'm going to have to wait a couple hours for the network to stabilize again. I have to go too. So thanks for joining, and thanks for your help. When will I be coming to Bangkok? I'm going to be there in March for a meeting. It's the week of, I'll be there the 17th through the 21st. And I have only a little bit of free time in Bangkok, but then we're going to go travel around a couple of other places in the area also. Yeah, so what should I bring for Bangkok? I think it's going to be the Director Mini. Considering that's running my stream right now, this is a good test of it. I think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be, I'm going to have the Pocket 3 with me anyway, so I feel like it's silly to not use that as a USB webcam into the Director Mini. And then that also means I can use the wireless mics that pair with this for less cables, which is nice. And I will also have my big camera, but I don't know if maybe I should just not bother with the big camera for the live stream, because then I have to bring more cables. So I could bring this one and try to get it, see if I can get it to work wirelessly over my travel router, because I also need the travel router for VPN and my own wired and Wi-Fi and my phone. So really I'll have 3 cameras for a live stream, which is more than enough. Yeah, I'm looking forward to visiting. Maybe we can try to set up a visit. Clearly the network has recovered, seeing as he's catching up on chat. Yep. Can you try switching back to your original stream before you leave? Will YouTube revert back when you end your existing connection? So I've actually done like a whole video about how this works on YouTube. Let me find that really quick, because I have tested this quite a lot. It is, here it is. So that video has a lot of this detail about that. But basically what happens is if here, I'll do it right now. If I start streaming from my ATEM again, so now I'm pushing 2 feeds up to YouTube. ATEM is streaming. YouTube is not going to automatically switch back to that. So you're still seeing the feed from the backup from the Director Mini. So I have to, in order to fail back to the mainstream, I have to disconnect this one. So here, well, we can do it now. Let's go monitor my stream so I can see what you see. So I can, on here, I'm going to stop streaming. And as soon as I do that, it's going to, something's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be in sync or out of sync. I need like a clock. Oh, here, you can kind of see the time code here. So when I disconnect that, it's going to fail back to the ATEM stream. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, 1, go. And what happened on YouTube? Only 3 seconds of overlap. So now we're back streaming on the ATEM on my wired network, which has, in fact, recovered. That's good. What travel router is that? It's a GL.iNet. Let me see if I... oh, and only my chats are off the screen again because of OBS. Let's fix that. Deck link output. We're going to stop that. We're going to go back to the Ultra Studio 4K with the external keyer. Start. Okay. And go back there. And then bring that key back on the air. And we're back. This is the AXT1800. AXT1800. Here is the link in the chat. Last thing I did with it was setting it up for Tailscale, which is going to be the VPN I use for this trip to get back to the home network. I think I have it all set up now where I can pop this, I give this an internet connection somehow, and then I have access to everything at home. I should double check that before I leave, though. What will the IETF folks say if you connect the 2110 converter to the network? This is an interesting idea. You can really just take down a network, huh? I wonder what would happen. They do weird stuff to the network though, because that's where the network protocols get built, and they often are running very experimental things on some of the Wi-Fi's there. So. Great. Okay. I think we're going to wrap it up. This was fun. This was an extra hour today. Thanks everybody for joining today. Thanks for the questions. It was fun to watch the chaos today. And of course, thank you to all the channel members, and thanks for the super chats. Thanks to the extreme supporters, Larry, Kevin, and Marcin. And thanks to all the other channel members for your support. All of that really just helps me keep this channel running, keep making videos. Everything that you put into the channel goes right back into the channel, and I use it to buy random gear to test with and try things out. Oh, we've got the double credits again. There we go. Oh no, you didn't see it. It was just on my end. Anyway, thanks. That was fun. We broke the network and got it back together. Mostly worked. It looks like the multicast filtering is mostly working as it should. Still some question marks on that. So I will try to dig a little deeper and figure it out. But as you can see, it's a little bit chaotic to actually test this stuff because it does actually take down the entire house network. Okay, that was fun. We'll see you again next week, hopefully, assuming that everything goes well this week. We'll see you again next time, and have a great rest of the week. Bye.